But Dr. Barmi, let me understand from you. You could explain this sort of onlookers' apathy, one from the fact that probably there is fear that they don't want to get involved in a crime scene, there will be probably the ripple effect of being involved, and that's why people don't want to. But this is clear insensitivity. You can stand there, you are not helping anybody, you're just making a video out of it and sharing it then.
Absolutely. I agree with you that it is absolutely shocking insensitivity and apathy, and it is a diffusion of responsibilities. Recording allows individuals. This is absolutely terrible. They are diffusing their responsibilities. There is a psychological dissociation from reality. The act of recording can create a kind of an emotional distance from the entire reality of what is happening. And this is what we call as cognitive dissonance. And I think there is a terrible misguided sense of social justice. Some bystanders may believe that posting the video will incite outrage and demand action from others. Thereby, they sometimes think they'll act as whistleblowers to this injustice. However, this is often overlooked, and it is complete insensitivity and apathy that is coming about, like this bystander effect. Because the impact on the woman, not only on the woman who's going through the assault, but the what would you say, the generic of the women, is that there is a psychological lowering of their self-worth. There is an internalized fear of victimization. Women may begin at large to internalize the belief that they can be the potential victims, and they will live with this kind of fear of helplessness and powerlessness. So these incidents in the society is actually
How much
making
of this
one
has
gender
to do with social media, Dr. Barmi?
and leads us to depression.
The fact that everybody wants to be the first one who wants to post on social media, wants to be the original source of a certain video or a post that should go viral. Everybody is running after getting viral in this social media age. How much of that contributes to the kind of onlookers' apathy syndrome that we are seeing across the country today?
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible, because social validation and somewhere psychological attention seeking by being the first is something that is a misnomer in the mind of people. People record traumatic events to gain the validation on social media, and they like to share it because they feel they are going to be the first to be able to extend this kind of news out in the public. But what is to be understood is that what do they do prior to that? They cannot be bystanders. They have to move. They have to move so that they can help, they can support. Either they can do it their own selves, or they can seek support. But the fact that they are going to shoot her video or videos like this is a complete threat to humanity at large. Cannot be pardoned. Because, like I was sharing, the impact on the entire gender bias and the position of a presence of a woman in the society is being threatened. There is no aspect of trust that is getting left. There is a complete erosion of this trust when when these bystanders fail to intervene. It actually creates a feeling of psychological
but let me take this across to Mr. Jain, Dr. Barmi. Mr. Jain, being a bystander has its background perhaps in the fact that people for long have had this thought that, who's going to get into the police investigation? We'll have to go to the police station again and again. The police will badger us with questions. We don't want to get involved. But for viewers who might be watching you right now, what are the first few steps they can take without this kind of fear coming into their mind and this kind of probably lethargy, for want of a better word, that comes inside that, who's going to get involved in a crime scene?
Shreya, you are right. Unfortunately, the legal process is such we need witnesses, and the person who's the first complainant in point of time or the first informant has to undergo some kind of a discomfort. He may be called to the police station twice, thrice. He may be produced before a senior officer for verification of his statement. These are all processes. But I think as responsible citizens, The only thing I can say is that we must come forward. Unless we come forward, how does it stop? I mean, you simply be a witness tomorrow. It could be somebody from my family. It's a question of it's a question of my social, my civil responsibility that I should be discharging, even at a slight discomfort to myself. It is the same. I can't compare the two situations, but it is the same kind of a thing. You get 2 days holidays and the people go off on a holiday rather than vote. See, we are absolutely chucking our civil responsibility, our civic responsibility out of the window. This is what is happening. So I have no shortcut to this, because anybody who's a witness will have to undergo the process of the police investigation, being called twice, thrice for getting his statement recorded and then verified. And then he will have to present himself before the court. And you know how the courts function. There could be a few dates also. But unfortunately, this is a fact of life, and this is our legal system. The new BNSS is trying to put a cap on this, on the number of adjournments. Otherwise, the witnesses absolutely get harrowed by the presence in the courts. More than the police, it is the process in the court which is more painful, because dates after dates after dates, and if the guy does not remain present, summons and warrants are issued against him. So this is what our legal system is. But somewhere we have to as responsible citizens come out and be witnesses and be the part of the process. Shreya.
Yeah, that's right. And Dr. Barmi, quickly from you then, just the last word in a quick 30 seconds. How have we become this selfish society who doesn't have a collective responsibility feeling towards each other, a society that cares about each other? How did we become such a selfish people?
I think there were a lot of implications that brought about these kind of things. But right now, I think we definitely need a societal shift, which is necessary to empower individuals to act, report, and intervene, and foster a culture that condemns silence and inaction in the face of crimes. Knowing that, we cannot be this apathetic and indifferent society lacking empathy in especially crisis times. I think we need to empower ourselves. I think the society, the community, the legal systems, the civic awareness programs all need to be there, because I think women need to get back their strength, their trust, their self-worth. And this vicarious trauma that even if we as women have not been directly involved, repeatedly witnessing or hearing about such incidents can result in a vicarious trauma that will be lopsided for one side of the gender community for us. So I think a complete stop on this is an
which is true.
absolute must.
The fact that
and this misguided
even if we're not a victim, we have been survivors. All of us can, Dr. Barmi, agree that all women have been survivors, most of them, of eve teasing, of, being labeled, of feeling unsafe when you're walking on the streets. So even if you're not directly involved, you do have that constant fear in your mind.
Yes. And that is the fear that we need to eradicate. And thereby, like Mr. Jain was also saying, I think we need to have all these processes in place that can restore the trust, restore that we are not going to be, just victims. And there can be certain things that will be done, whether we are the victim or whether we are a part of this vicarious learning. I think it is very, very important to get that empowered.
I think it's not going to be an overnight change, but the more we talk about it, Dr. Barmi, the more we can change society. I'll have to leave it there. Mr. P.K. Jain and Dr. Bhavna Barmi, thank you very much for joining us on Mirror Now and sharing your perspective. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.